Today we're going to look at adding fractions with uncommon denominators. Now you will notice that the denominators are not the same. We cannot add denominators that are different. They have to be the same. So we can't add fractions with uncommon denominators or different denominators unless we do something to them to make the denominators the same. Notice I put equal signs here. That's because we're going to make equal fractions, okay? We're going to make equal fractions, and then we're going to put a denominator there that's the same. We do this by finding the least common denominator, which more or less is the least common factor, or multiple, I should say. It's the same thing, just written as a fraction. So the easiest way to do that is, do you see the denominators? One of them's always going to be bigger. I like to look at the greatest one, the biggest one, and then find the multiples of that. And if the smaller ones can divide into that multiple, then we know that's the one. So we're going to find the least one, the first one we come to when we think of multiples, to see if it will work. So over here, if I take a 5, well, what would the multiples of 5 be? Well, 5, but if we look at these, 4 won't go into 5 and 2 won't go into 5. Okay, what's the next multiple of 5? Well, the next multiple of 5 is 10. Okay, will any of those go into 10? 2 will, but 4 won't. All right, what's the next multiple of 5? 5, 10, 15. But there again, the 4 and 2 don't go into 15. All right, what's the next one? 20. 20. That sounds like that might work, huh? Well, okay, will 4 go into 20? Yes. We know 4 times 5 is 20. All right, will 2 go into 20? Yes. 20 is an even number, and 2 will always go into even numbers. So they both go, so that's the one. The least common denominator, or multiple, is 20. And we're going to call it a least common denominator since we're making it a fraction. So we're going to put 20 is going to be the denominator for all of these. So whichever one it is, we put that at the bottom of our fraction in the denominator, and that's going to be the one that we use. And then we just make equal fractions. We've already found the denominator. So then we look here at the different ones. And for some reason, I always start at the bottom. You can start at the top too if you want to. But look at the bottom one here. 2, 20. 2 times what's 20? 2 times 10 would be 20, right? So whatever one we did here, we do the same number here. 1 times 10 would be 10. So the numerator for that one is 10. All right, then go to the next one. 4 times what's 20? 4 times 5 equals 20. So since we used a 5 here, we'll use a 5 for the one up here. 1 times 5 equals 5. And so the numerator for that one is 5. All right, so we've made equal fractions for those two. And now we're going to make equal fractions for this last one up here. 5 times what's 20? 5 times 4's 20. So here's the numerator here. We're going to multiply that one also by 4. 2 times 4, 8. Now look at that. Now we have denominators that are all the same, and we simply add the numerators. 8 plus 5's 13, and 10 more would make 23 over, and what's the denominator? 20. So we basically added all of those. 23 over 20. Now, before we stop, we always look at our answer. And we always ask first, is it proper or improper? If it's proper, we'll see if we can reduce it. If it's improper, we will change it to a whole or mixed number by dividing the denominator into the numerator. And by looking at this, we know it's improper because the denominator is not larger than the numerator. So we have to divide. So, you can go off to the side here and you could, if you can't do it in your head and think, oh, 20 goes into 23, one time it can't go more than that, right? But for some of us, I'll do it like this because there's always some that don't know. So 20 goes into 23 one time. 1 times 20 is 20. And when we subtract, there's 3 left over. So 1 and 3 is the leftover or remainder. And we write the remainder as a fraction. So 3 becomes our numerator. And the 20 will be our denominator. See how 20 was our denominator? The 20 will always be the denominator. This denominator will stay the same. So 1 and 3/20 is our answer. And so we could come over here and we could go 23 over 20 equals 1 and 3/20 or 3 over 20. And I like to look back at the whole thing and just go, okay, that's my final answer. Let's circle the final answer so that the teacher can find it. And there you have it. Hope this helped you today. Take care.